I can't really hear you. You could put it in the chat. It's okay. Would anyone else like to go in the meantime?
I can go. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My name is Pitchy. I'm a first year. My pronouns are she, her. My major is currently art, design, games, and playable media, but I'm also thinking of cognitive science. We'll see. And my zodiac sign is a Cancer. I'm very sensitive, so that's how I know.
Same.
I can go next if that's everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Lucia. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am actually one of the EOP counselors, and I was also a student at UCSC. So I graduated with a double major in LALS and sociology. But it's good to see all of you here. And I'm also happy to answer any questions if y'all have any later.
Thank you, Lucia. And Christina put in the chat that they're a first year student. They use she, her pronouns, majors history of art and visual culture, and they're a Sag. And Shanine also uses she, her pronouns, proposed major is math, and she's a first year and a Sag too. Wow. Okay. Did everyone go? If not, we can wait or move on.
I can go real quick. So my name's Isaiah, pronouns he, him. I'm first year. My major is computer science, and my zodiac sign is Leo.
Thank you. Nice. Okay, and Caitlin is also introducing herself in the chat. So she uses she, her pronouns. She's a third year art and havoc major, Capricorn. And yes, she is also a pal. So if you have any questions, you can also ask Caitlin or Lucia. Okay, I'm just gonna move on then to the next slide. Okay, so some learning outcomes that I have for this workshop. Hopefully we can all identify some obstacles we've been facing during COVID towards success. And I'm hoping that y'all can utilize resources that will help optimize your time by the resources that I'm giving y'all. And hopefully I can set you all up to prepare an effective EOP time management grid. It's sort of like a long process. So I'm hoping I can just walk y'all through the steps. And then later on, when you have more time, you can prepare it on your own. Okay. So I'm hoping that y'all can put like what it means to manage your time in the chat. I just like got this definition online of what time management is. I know we all have different definitions of time management, but the definition that I thought like kind of described it pretty clearly is the mindful process of properly planning and organizing your tasks. It is the method of exercising conscious control over the amount of time spent dedicated to certain activities, mainly with the goal of increasing productivity, efficiency, and effectiveness. Okay, someone said in the chat, be focused and present with what task I'm completing, putting all my energy into it. Yes, I agree. But what does time management look like to you all? Or typically, how have y'all managed your time? Bianca said, balancing out school and personal pieces of your life, completing all needed things that need to get done. Yes. To me, time management is putting time aside to schedule my week and to create a balance of all the things I have to do, which includes time for myself. Yes, time for yourself is really important. Organizing and balancing responsibilities, being able to successfully set aside enough time for all the activities you have, time for school and work and fun. Yes, I think a lot of people forget about self-care. That's true. A clear plan of what you're going to do throughout the day, week, month. Yes. Would anyone else like to add anything? Okay, well, thank you all for participating. So some quick points on why we need time management. Well, first, we need time management to improve performance and efficiency. So when you allocate time intervals to studying for your classes, you're usually able to accomplish more tasks faster and eliminate distractions. Time management lets you focus on essential tasks and prioritize accordingly. And then the second point I have, time management helps you deliver your work on time. So by having like a time management schedule, you can work on your projects ahead of time gradually instead of doing your assignments and studying last minute. Um, it also helps you increase the quality of work. So working on your projects over time is bound to increase the quality of your work. Like for me, I like to spread out um, the time I spent on tasks instead of doing everything in one sitting because it's just, I feel like it puts too much pressure on myself personally. So, like when you do that, typically it increases your work quality and it gives you more time to revise your projects and reach out for help if you encounter an obstacle. Time management also helps you reduce stress and anxiety. So for me personally, I have generalized anxiety disorder, and like when it comes to managing my time, it's like really difficult. But I think time management also helps me reduce my anxiety because it makes me feel a lot more relieved to know that like I'm getting stuff done gradually instead of cramming because personally that doesn't work for me. So checking off items off of my list and being completely present during the time I study makes me feel like really accomplished and efficient. And time management can also help boost your confidence. Um, so for me, as a first gen student from a low income background, I came into college with a lot of worries that I would fall behind. But once I was introduced to time management, specifically to the EOP Time Management grid, I stuck with it every quarter, and it's personally helped me a lot as a student and now as a fourth year. So I've been able to manage my academic work and personal responsibilities, and it makes me feel a lot more confident that I can actually succeed every quarter. And time management also helps you feel fulfilled in your personal life. Um, like I said, it eliminates a lot of stress, of like especially the stress of having deadlines, because as we know, like going to a UC, we have deadlines sometimes back to back, and it's just like really overwhelming. But like managing your time isn't only for your classes and academics. It also revolves around self-care. So like if you prioritize your like academic tasks and work, then you're bound to have more time to take care of yourself. um yeah, and like that usually includes like spending quality time with your loved ones, watching a movie, or doing things that make you feel more happy and more grounded. um yeah, so those are some of the points I have on like why we need time management. Y'all can feel free to add anything else in the chat. But I did have a question for you all, um, because I know like right now with COVID, it's really hard for us to manage our time, and we all are going through different personal situations. So I wanted to ask, like, what obstacles have you encountered when you try to manage your time, and how has COVID affected your ability to be productive? And y'all can just pitch in or just put anything in the chat, like whatever you feel comfortable.
I'll go ahead and go. I feel like the pandemic has made me work more than I should. And since it's something that I can continuously do, it kind of makes me put school on the back burner. Um, so I feel like that's kind of helped me a lot, but also kind of limit my time. How we were saying that we need to focus on self care. I haven't really done that. I feel like it's always go, go, go. And I feel like even now with the pandemic, with like work and school, it's made all of us really not take like a breather and know and see what's going on, or like, you know, kind of lose our motivation.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I hear from a lot of people that those feelings resonate with them as well. Like personally, like for my friends that we've when we've talked about time management, we all share like that common feeling of like not having time to take care of yourself, or just like really doing stuff back to back. And it's really hard when you can't really switch up your environment and you're at home all the time. I'm just gonna read some stuff from the chat now. So someone said they're not able to focus on the computer, and spend times hours staring at a screen, also getting distracted on the internet. Yes, I feel that. Usually I have to turn my brightness all the way down if I'm on the computer all day. Um, Someone else said procrastinating is probably the biggest problem for me. And then we have the pandemic has made me lose a lot of my motivation. My eyes get so tired staring at the screen. Yes, I haven't seen friends since March, and since everything is online, all we do is stick our faces into a screen and forget about everything else. Yeah, I can resonate with the eye problems. Oh my God, like me wearing glasses and just being on the screen all day. I know at first I was getting a lot of headaches being on the screen. So I worry that like my eyesight will get worse. Um, Doing a 10-minute workout, walk in the morning to start my days helps me with motivation. Oh, thank you for including that. Like what helps you with your motivation. Yes, I really enjoy that. I like having a morning routine too to get my day started where I don't use my phone at all because I know I'm just going to be on the screen most of the day. So usually when I wake up like the first hour of the day, I won't like use my phone. I'll just like get up, wash my face, brush my teeth, shower. I try to stretch and like I like doing the 7-minute meditation on YouTube. Since I'm at home, it's hard to have a space where I can concentrate managing my time during COVID-19. Um, oh, sorry, did someone want to say something? Okay. It's hard to stay focused because there's no change in the environment. It's harder to focus because you're always home or in your room. I personally like working at cafes or libraries rather than at home. Yeah, me too. I always really liked having those boundaries. I wouldn't really ever study in my room when I lived on campus. I would always just go to the libraries. So it's definitely been um, like a really rough transition. Well, I think there are some positive things I do. Have more time on my assignments and I get more sleep. Not waste time going to class. Yeah, that's true. We don't really have to account for travel time anymore since we're online. But I hope y'all are still taking breaks like in between your classes. Okay, thank you all for sharing. Is there anything else y'all want to add? Okay. Yes, I miss the library. Living in the UCSC apartment, so I use my room. Oh, you live in the UCSC apartment, so you use your room to study and living room to chill. Yes, yeah, having two different environments really helps. Um, okay, so I listed some like do's and don'ts for habits towards time management, and this isn't an exhaustive list. This is, I guess, just again related to like personally like what works for me, and what I feel like would work best for you all based on the research that I did. Um, So first, don't overcram. I took a psychology class last year. No, I think it was my second year, but it was on learning and memory. And we read a lot of research articles that said that cramming isn't an efficient way to study. And there's been studies done where like when students work gradually over time, so let's say you have an essay due and you spend maybe like an hour of it and doing your essay like an hour each day instead of working on it like all in one day, like that helps you a lot better to like focus and like with your learning. Same with studying for exams too. It just helps with retention. Um, and also like don't plan last minute. I know a lot of us do this, especially because we have like so many back-to-back deadlines, so it's kind of hard to keep track of all of them. Um, but ultimately, like if you continue to plan last minute, it'll lead to burnout. Don't skip meals as well too. Like it's really important to take care of your body. This is an essential so you can have energy to do your work. or skip sleep either. Sleep is really important, especially now because we're on the screen all day. Like it's important to like let your eyes rest, and it's gonna allow you to feel refreshed when you start a new day. And yeah, like just missing sleep can lead to exhaustion, which can impact your academic performance. Um, and some do's to implement. So do plan. As a student, it's important to plan your days in advance, and to schedule time to study during the times when you are the most productive. So you have to kind of work around like your natural clock. Like if you're a morning person, try to study more in the morning. And if you're a night person, then try to allocate time to study at night. Like for me personally, I like to wake up early and I do most of my studying then because I know that's when I'm the most productive. And then also do keep track of deadlines. So it's important to add your deadlines to a calendar that you can look back on, like however you that looks like for you. Because I know a lot of people like using Google Calendar. I like using that too. But personally, I also like having a planner where I actually like write down my deadlines. And I think it just helps better to like have notebooks and planners right now, especially because again, like I get really tired of looking at the screen as well. And if you see something approaching, it's important to schedule time to work on it or add a personal deadline for yourself. I know for me, like I don't really like studying last minute. So what I do is usually I don't set my deadline for the day of that it's due. I set my deadline for like a few days before it's due. That way I don't have to stress about it. Um, And then to my next point, so try to prioritize um, your classes. So personally, I like to rank my classes in like the order of the most importance to least importance. Well, I mean they're all important, but just like I guess the ones that have the most work or like are really related to my major. So for example, right now, like I'm taking my senior seminar, so that's the class I prioritize the most. So whenever like I have an important deadline coming up, I know to schedule time during the day where I have like the most study time set up to study for that class. Um, I just think that's like really helpful to like rank your classes and then like go off of that. And also set daily goals for yourself. It's important to keep a list of assignments or readings you want to do during the day. Per day, sorry. And during the school week, I tend to dedicate like 2 days out of the week to each class. So I don't know if that makes sense, but basically what that looks like is if I have like a Tuesday, Thursday class, I only study like 2 days for that, usually the day before each class. And those are like the days I focus on each class. And that's just personally what works for me. It's kind of hard for me to like balance having multiple like assignments per day. So typically I focus on one assignment per day. That way I don't feel too exhausted during my weeks. Um, and also try to eliminate distractions. I think it's helpful to put your phones on like airplane mode when you want to study. If you have like a Mac computer, you can also put your computer on do not disturb. That way you don't have to see the notifications you're getting like whenever they pop up. And like I know this isn't accessible for everybody, but like try to study in a quiet environment. I think what helps me focus on my studying is like turning on my white noise machine. So it's basically like a machine you see in offices where it makes like fan sounds. And I know it costs around $20. I got mine online. Also, if you have a fan, that really helps to like diminish noises or putting on earphones. Personally, I can't listen to music, but I know some people can listen to music and study at the same time. Um, and also, so another habit y'all need to keep like do as well, and I've been seeing people say this in the chat too, is make time for yourself. Um, you should try to have at least one full day where you don't do any like academic work. At least like that's what I do. And instead try to take care of yourself and do things that make you happy. So like go for a walk, read, listen to music, or just spend quality time with yourself or with others. It's important that you also prioritize your personal needs and for me, it's been really helpful to have at least one personal day to myself. I know, again, that's maybe not accessible to everybody because people have like work or like maybe they're taking more than 15 units, so they don't have that time. But I mean, it's important to have at least like a few hours, like where you don't have to like worry or just focus on your academics. Because like once you step away from like doing your work and you have time allocated to yourself, it's gonna really refresh you and help you once you go back to your work. Um, yeah, so basically, I find like when I take a break, my ideas kind of start flowing more and I feel more ready to go back to my work, especially if I'm feeling pretty exhausted. I'm just gonna read the chat too real quick. So someone said classical music helps them, or EDM. If you don't want to buy a white noise machine, you can use your earphones/headphones and look up videos on YouTube. Oh, okay. Yes, that's a really good idea. I like to listen to wind chimes or rivers, lo-fi beats on YouTube. Yeah. I listen to rain and thunder sounds. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. Wow. Um, yes. I like to do a combination of nature sounds and lo-fi. Oh my god, I'm glad you all are using that. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next slide now. Okay, so how do we manage our time? I'm just like kind of rambling on, but I think it kind of goes with what I was saying previously. So first, you want to have a schedule. So in the next slides, I'm going to be going over how to create an EOP time management grid with our EOP study formula. And like I've said, I've used the time management grid every quarter and I feel like it really works. And I also like to complement the time management grid with Google Calendar to schedule my classes, work, study time, and personal commitments. Scheduling your responsibilities will allow you to be consistent with the work that you do and also make it a habit. I know like with procrastination, it's really hard to overcome that, but I think that the tips, like if you do take some of the tips that I'm sharing with y'all today and implement it into your life, it could potentially become a habit, um, which is like I think would be really helpful. And also plan. So, like as I was saying, be intentional with what you want to do every day. I recommend having a planner to write down your daily to-do list. And also, I don't know if y'all have heard of the Passion Planner website, but they have free PDFs that you can download and you can like print them or like use them on your personal computer or like iPad and just write on them to plan out your days. Um, and my next point is allocate time to study. So, based on the EOP study formula, it's recommended that you study 3 hours for every unit that you take. Depending on your responsibilities, like I would recommend you study maybe like 30 to 45 hours per week. Like that sounds like a lot. But if you do the math, like if you're taking 15 units times three, that's 45 hours. Um, but I know this isn't accessible to everybody. So like I would say that like around 30 is still like very helpful. Um, and also take breaks. Like it's important to get off the screen and get some water. Talk to your like housemates or family, whoever you live with. Go walk, stretch, check your personal notifications. I try to take a break like maybe every hour when I'm doing homework or if I'm working remotely. But yeah, like just do what's best for you. And it's completely okay to take breaks from homework. Like I said, like once you take breaks and come back to your work, often like your ideas flow a lot easier. And breaks look differently for everybody. So like if you're doing homework, it could be like a 5 to 10 minute break. Or if it's like a day on the weekend, maybe it can be a whole day where you actually do something not related to academics. Um, okay, I'm gonna read the chat. So someone said they explore a different study playlist that Spotify has. Yeah, I've seen that Spotify has a lo-fi playlist. On TikTok, someone suggested that Mario Bros soundtrack to study with. Oh my God, I've seen that. Yeah. um, I have a planner, and every night before bed, I write goals to get done for the next day. Yes. Saturday is a no school day for me. Yes, that's good. I love that. Sometimes planners can be pricey, so you can also try buying a blank notebook, journal, and bullet journal. You can find designs and themes online, including Pinterest. It's fun. Yeah, I know there's a lot of YouTube videos on how to bullet journal. So, yes, thank you for adding that. Okay, so I'm hoping we can have like a moment of self-reflection. If y'all feel comfortable, you can share. But just take a moment right now to think about like what classes and commitments you're involved in currently. How many hours do you typically sleep at night? And how many hours do you study per day? So yeah, just think about these questions. And if you want to share, you can go ahead, or I can share as well. Okay, so someone in the chat said, I'm old fashioned. I like to write it all down and cross it out. I feel more accomplished instead of deleting. When I take a break, I end up taking longer because I get interested in what I'm watching. I wish I had this workshop last week. I just finished my midterm last night. Oh, congrats on finishing your midterm. And they get their planners on sale. That's good. Someone said in the chat, I noticed that a to-do list works for me on a daily basis so I don't get overwhelmed with what I have to do for this week or month. Yeah. And if y'all don't want to share about your self-reflection, that's okay. Y'all can just share anything else we've discussed so far. I think it's been really helpful just reading the chat. And hopefully some comments like resonate with you all. Okay, someone in the chat said, I plan out my weeks on Sunday night and then I look at my due dates. I also make some food Sunday night so I can munch on a meal throughout the week. Yeah, I like meal prepping on Sundays too. I don't really cook throughout the week, so I like doing that. Someone said I have pretty easy classes this quarter, but there's one class that I'm worried about. So I know I have to spend extra time studying and going to MSI sessions. I sleep around 6 hours a night and study around 6 hours a day. Yeah, MSI sessions are really helpful. I always use them when I took my lower division courses. Someone has core math, Chem 1A. They don't sleep until 1 or 2, wake up at 9, since my body's just used to it. And I study a lot from when I wake up, and I have trouble not giving myself time to have fun. Ooh, if y'all are in Chem 1A, y'all should connect. I have a really bad habit of not studying since I tend to take long to finish assignments because I get distracted. So I'll definitely try to have a planner. Also, something else I remind myself is to breathe. The work always gets done, whether I stress about it or not. Yes, that's a really good reminder. And hopefully y'all, your professors have been more lenient right now during these times too, with deadlines. Someone said, yeah, my assignments take me longer than expected to do. Yes. So Nuhaman said, oh my God, this chat. I have 2 jobs and my STEM classes and it can be hard sometimes. So having a to-do list and my Google Calendar is really key for me. I refuse to pull all-nighters. So I always go to sleep like at 10 or 11. I study in the mornings too because I can focus more than, oh my God, yes, I do the same. I also have 2 jobs. I work 20 hours a week. And I'm taking a 15-unit course load, and I'm also applying to graduate school. So I kind of do the same as Muhammad. Like I try to sleep around 10 or 11, the latest. And I wake up early in the mornings too and study then. James said, I'm doing 20 units a job and I am in charge of my younger brother's academics. So I'm definitely doing a lot this quarter and it's tiring. I schedule my weeks out on Sundays, but it's always so hard to schedule time for myself, including things like cooking actual meals for me to eat. Yeah, that's really difficult. I have a part-time job and balancing working and school has been a struggle for me, but I have learned to be assertive with my availability for my job so that I can prioritize school. Also, a calendar that includes my work and school schedule has helped me. Thank you. Having a bullet journal is helpful for James. Yes. Even though I'm still struggling with me time, it's nice to see what I have to do visualized. Oh my God, yes. Can you show the bullet journal? I want to see that.
Yeah, I can totally show you the bullet journal. Give me a second. Let me just
Yes. Oh, I like your background too.
Thank you. I actually made it for my job. I work for the Renaissance Scholars Program and we're holding a fall welcome event Friday. But yeah, I kind of don't have, is it gonna do it? I don't have this week figured out. Give me a sec. Let me turn off the background and I'll come back to you.
Sounds good. Okay, and then someone else in the chat said, I have a job, but it's closed. I'm kind of glad because that gives me more time to study. But then I'm gonna have no money. Yes. I also love Halloween because it's around my birthday. My birthday's the day after Halloween. And Fernanda said, okay.
Sorry. This is this week. I don't really have it figured out quite yet, but usually they look something like this. It's a lot. But I'm really big on to-do lists. This is where I have the space to have my to-do list. I'm also really big on like actually visualizing what I'm doing from what hour to what hour. I do want to say that like this, what I have here right now and like doing it myself is a work in progress. Because I know there's a lot of first years in here. It's taken me 2 years to figure out what works for me specifically. So like know that it's okay if you don't feel that something works for you. It's a lot of trial and error. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that's a really important point because like a lot of the tips I'm sharing, like they've worked personally for me, but of course, not all of these tips are gonna work the same or look the same for every person. So I really like what you shared, James. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next slide. Okay, how many of y'all have heard about the EOP Time Management grade? I just kind of want to like assess the room. I haven't. Okay. Not until today. Okay. Let me pull it up real quick. Okay, so basically how y'all can access it, typically I just Google UCSC EOP Time Management. And then it pops up right here, Time Management Guide, UCSC EOP. I'll put the link in the chat. And this is what it looks like. So pretty much the EOP Time Management Grid, it's like a downloadable Excel file. You can print it and then work off of it like that. But what I typically suggest is that you download the Excel file and then upload it to Google Spreadsheets. That way you can save it and like work on it throughout time. Let me just show y'all what that looks like. All right, give me a second. So you typically want to download the Excel file and then it's right here. And then upload it onto the time management. Oop, I didn't do that right. Import. So once you download it, you want to import the Excel sheet. I'm going to replace the spreadsheet. And then this is what it looks like. on the spreadsheet. And I just like having it on Google spreadsheets because it just saves your work and you can have it on your UCSC drive. So the steps to doing this, like first you want to download it, then you want to enter your classes, schedule, labs, and sections. And once you're on the actual link, it goes more in depth. So I don't think we have enough time to like go through each step. So I apologize for that. And typically, like once you add your class schedule, your labs and your sections, you want to schedule travel time around those times. So like, I mean, right now we're not traveling to classes, but I still recommend maybe you leave like 30 minutes like before and after your classes open, just in case you want to take a break, eat something, or do anything else. And then after that, you want to add the time you wake up and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And one important thing is to like give yourself 7 hours of sleep and 1 hour to relax before bed. And then like on your time management grade, you also like schedule study blocks and give yourself free time. And also the time management grade goes more into like what the EOP study formula is, which is right here. But it kind of tells you like how many hours you should be studying depending on the units that you're taking. Like I said before, if you're taking 5 units, it's recommended you study like 3 hours like for those 5 units. So like 15 units times 3 is 45 hours. But I recommend you study anywhere between like 30 to 45 hours. And this is an example of what a finished time management grid looks like. So the first one you see on the left, it's an example of a first year student's time management grid. So someone who doesn't have like a part-time job. And as you can see, they have a lot of open availability. So like in red, they've scheduled study times, and all of that study time amounts to 41 hours per week. And according to the EOP study formula, studying 41 hours about that time would typically allow you to get like A's in your classes. And then I included another example to the right. So this is an example of a fourth year student with 2 jobs. I based it off of my own time management grade. So even though this person works like 20 hours and they have classes, they still have enough time allocated to study at least 34 hours a week. Yes. I'm sorry. I hope this makes sense so far, but if it doesn't, please feel free to ask me like any questions. Like I wish I had time to show you all like how to make it step by step. So yeah, I apologize for that. Okay, if there's no other questions for now, I just wanted to add some additional tips. So try to be like flexible with your schedule. Like I know that this looks like a lot, especially with the whole like study time being in red. Like it can be very intimidating for people, but just be flexible with yourself. It's okay to not stick with your schedule all of the time. It's difficult to follow it consistently every day when like we have other personal responsibilities at home and we're also living like in the middle of a global pandemic. So it's all right if you don't follow it exactly. But yeah, like when you create a schedule, try to cater it towards your natural clock. And this requires a lot of self-reflection. It doesn't happen right away. Like James was mentioning, like it took them, I believe, 2 years to kind of like figure out like their pace and like their schedule. So it takes time. It takes self-reflection. You have to like ask yourself, are you a night person, a morning person? Like when are you the most productive? If you're living at home, you might have to consider when you typically have time to yourself to focus, like if you need a quiet environment. So like that would probably look like maybe scheduling time while people are out at work or if everyone's asleep to study. And also, I just wanted to add, please reach out for help when you need it. Especially right now, it's very crucial to be in communication with your professors, your TAs, other students. If you're going through something personally that is affecting your work, like please feel free to reach out to them. I'm sure that they'll be empathetic towards your situation. And we also have other resources on campus too that you can reach out to. For example, the Disability Resource Center is one resource where you can receive accommodations for longer testing times and extensions on assignments. Their services are catered for students with disabilities. However, you can use their services for 2 quarters if you're having trouble concentrating academically. And then after that, you would need to provide a letter from your doctor or therapist regarding your disability. But that's a service that y'all can use too. And if you want to talk more about time management with us, the EOP Peer Advising Leaders have open office hours where you can drop in. And like in our office hours, we can help you make your time management grid step by step. Or we can just talk about anything else that's going on in your life, and we can like direct you to more resources. I hope you all know that we're here for you during these times. It's really hard, but it's important to have like a support system. So like, please feel free to reach out, come visit us. Like, we want to help you all. Oops, sorry, accidentally clicked that. Yeah, and then I just added this quote at the bottom that my coworker Lorena, I think she just dropped in. She added. So if you want to explain it, Lorena, that would be helpful. If not, it's okay. I'll just read it off. Okay, go ahead.
So hi. So basically, I found this quote when I was scrolling through Tumblr. I follow a lot of like quote blogs, and this one stuck out to me because it like basically says, instead of saying I don't have time, try saying it's not a priority and see how that feels. If I'm not working on my growth because it's not a priority, doesn't sit well with you, that's the point. You have to like reframe your mind to take the most out of like your priorities to benefit you. Like, time is a choice. If we don't like how we're spending it, we can choose differently. And that's basically like reframing how you see your like to-dos and your tasks as like, oh, if this will help my growth, I need to prioritize it. And that goes hand in hand with time management, I think.
Oh, I was muted. I said thank you. But yes, I'm gonna drop in the chat our Google form if you want to set up a time to meet with the peer advising leaders. And I'm also gonna move on to show y'all more resources. So I made a list of resources y'all can use with clickable links. I'm gonna be sending this to you all in the next upcoming days once I reach out to everyone else with the recording. But pretty much like I created this list along with my coworkers to show y'all of some resources y'all can continue to like actively use as you manage your time right now. So it includes like videos, like YouTube videos on how to bullet journal, like time management during remote instruction, some links to podcasts too. This is something I really like to do during my downtime. Whenever like I want to take a break from school, I just listen to a podcast, and I think it's really helpful to rest my eyes as well, so I don't have to be on the screen. But yeah, I like found this podcast called Chat with Kat. Like I found her on TikTok, and I started listening to her podcast, and she has some really good advice and tips on like preparing for online school and finding motivation during COVID-19. So she gets more into that. And some apps y'all can use are Google Calendar to organize your schedule. This one app called Be Focused. So, oh my God, I forgot the name. We were talking about it, Lorena, in our meeting, but the
Pomodoro?
Yeah. Yes. So it's like the I can't say it, but it's basically like it times your breaks and it times your study time. That way, like it gives you. But I can't explain it. Sorry. Can you talk a little bit more about it, Lorena? Thank you.
Yeah, so basically the Pomodoro time, it gets named from, it's like an Italian kind of thing, just because I think Pomodoro is like Italian tomato or something. But basically, it's breaking up your study or your focus times in 25-minute increments with 5-minute breaks between each 25-minute increment. And it's really great. So, like, you minimize the amount of time you need to be focused. And it's a really, I feel like it's more realistic to sit down and focus for 25 minutes straight versus like an hour straight. And then in between those little 5-minute breaks, you can get up and stretch, like get a snack, like scroll through your phone, like anything to kind of take a real break from your work, but only for 5 minutes. And this app right here, Be Focused, it's a timer app that is automatically measured in the Pomodoro time. So like 25-minute cycles with the 5-minute breaks. And it's like automatically set up for you, so you don't have to like really think about it. So yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, thank you. I was getting lost. Yes, and then another app I included is Asana. I use this for work, but I think y'all can use it still for your school. It's basically like you add tasks and then like you can add descriptions of it, like if you have an assignment due, and then you can assign it to yourself and like add the due date and just organize it from there. And like check it off whenever you're done with stuff. And then I also include other links. And like I said, I'm going to be sharing this with all of you. But like the link to the free passion planner PDFs, the EOP time management guide, and also an article about Apple screen time. So like to people who have like Apple iPhones, I don't know if y'all know this, but there's like this setting called screen time, and in that setting you can actually like limit the time you use for every app. So if you do have trouble like procrastinating and like using social media a lot, you can like limit the time you use. Like for example, me, like I only my time limit on Instagram is 30 minutes for all my social media as well. So I think it's been really helpful. And then other UCSC resources I included as well on the spreadsheet. So I included the academic and administrative calendar, which shows you all like the dates to like in regards to your classes and like when the quarter starts, how long the quarter is, and then more information about the Disability Resource Center, counseling and psychological services, learning support services. As someone mentioned, they do offer tutoring services to students and for certain lower division courses. And yes, and a link to EOP so y'all can get to know our resources more. And I'm gonna send this to y'all in the next upcoming days. And I just wanted to add that, yeah, like I'm sorry if I didn't go over like everything that you were expecting from this workshop, but you can always feel free to reach out to us. We are still taking appointments, and we're open from 9 to 6, so you can like call us or email us at eop@ucsc.edu, and the administrative receptionist will create an appointment for you to meet with a counselor. And if that doesn't work for you, we also have like drop-in services where you can meet with the peer advising leaders. All you have to do is like email EOP and you could like drop in with us and in there. And other peer advising services we have for EOP are the undocumented student services, the graduate information program, STEM hub. So if you're a STEM student, I think this resource would be really helpful for you, and they could talk more about time management specific to like STEM. And the EOP academic counselors also have drop-in Monday through Thursdays from 2 to 5, except Wednesdays. But Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, they're available from 2 to 5. Are there any questions or comments? Anything y'all want to add? This is basically the conclusion of our workshop. And I also wanted to add that we're going to be having another workshop next week on navigating the UC. So I'm going to be sending out a flyer when I send y'all the email to the resources. But Lorena is going to be hosting that workshop. Yes. I don't know if you want to add anything, Lorena.
Yeah, I'm gonna be hosting a workshop next Wednesday on November 3rd. It's gonna be about navigating the UC system. I feel like it would be most beneficial to first years and third year transfers to just understand, like on a personal level, what to expect from like the super fast paced quarter system, and like because it's rough when you're just thrown into it from like either a semester based community college or a semester based high school, and then jumping into like the really quick 3-part school year. So I feel like that should be really helpful. Yeah, just a little explanation of what I'll be talking about.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, y'all can feel free to stick around. If y'all have any other questions y'all want to ask me or any of the peer advisors. But yeah, other than that, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. This was my first workshop and I was really nervous, but I really appreciate your participation. And I hope y'all can like use some of these tips or like you got something out of this today. Thanks.
Sorry. Thank you for all the information. You did really good.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. Oh my God.
Congrats. I'm really glad I was able to drop in at least for like the little beat at the end.
Yeah.
You did good.
Thank you, Lucy.
I learned stuff that I didn't even know about.
Wait, for real? Oh my God. I feel like I was just talking.
No, you weren't. I literally I was like, oh shit. I got a lot. You did great. The presentation was amazing. I was like, oh, look at you say you go.
Thank you. Thanks for coming to support me.
Of course. I really like the turnout. I really like how everyone was like, thank you. Like that was sweet.
Yes.
You were very engaged.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yep.
Oh, man. Okay. I gotta go back to the front desk.
It's lunchtime.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Y'all did great.
Thank you.